Chapter 21 Through the Looking Glass and What Alex Found There. The final game of the Ever After baseball tournament was in the Emerald City, home of the wonderful Wizard of Oz and the Cyclones. They were in the finals for the first time in their tournament's almost 150-year history, and their fans treated them as a ticker tape parade down Verdigris Avenue as though they had already won. Perhaps they knew they'd better celebrate now while they could, Alex thought. The Cyclones had made it to the finals, but Ever After's odds makers weren't giving them much of a chance to win. Their opponents, to the surprise of very few, would be the Grim Reapers, who had won their place in the finals when the Lost Boys had been busted for performance-enhancing pixie dust and forced to forfeit their game. Now just two teams remained, with the final and deciding game to be played the following day. In the meantime, most of the Cyclones had plans. "Tonight, fellows, we party like there's no tomorrow," Toad announced, and his teammates on the bus cheered. Alex scratched again at his arms and worried that, for him at least, that there really might not be a tomorrow. Dorothy came down the aisle to his seat. "Alex, you coming? I know this great winky restaurant on Viridian Street." "Sure," he said. He put his hand to the seat in front of him to pull himself up, but somehow he didn't grab it. Alex frowned. He had reached for it and missed it? Or had he reached for it and missed it? He tried again, and his hand went right through the seat. "Dorothy, something's wrong. I can't." "Alex, no, not yet," Dorothy cried. Alex looked down and saw straight through himself to the seat cushion. He was fading away. "Dorothy, I can't feel anything. I can't even feel my heart beating or my tongue or my baseball jersey." "Alex, hang on." "To what?" he cried. His arms flailed as he tried to grab to the seat, his glove, anything. Dorothy reached out to him and yelled something, but it was like someone had pressed the mute button on her. No, on the whole world. Dorothy, I can't hear you. I can't hear anything," he tried to say, but he couldn't even hear himself. The world began to blur and turn dark. Alex put his hand to where Dorothy's was, and his fingers passed through hers like a ghost. This was it. He was dying. "I feel something," Dorothy was saying. He could hear it again and see her. Then he felt her, too, a tingle, then a touch, and then his hand was in Dorothy's, and she was holding on like she was hauling him back from a cliff, and Alex could feel his heart thumping in his chest and taste the hot tears that ran down his face. Dorothy sat down in the seat beside him, still squeezing his hand tight, and Alex was happy to leave it there for a while, happy to be holding on to anything real. "There was nothing," Alex said, shivering. "It was dark. It wasn't cold. It just wasn't. Dorothy, I don't want to die. I know I ran off to the woods. I didn't want to deal with it, so I ran away and hid. I'm back now. I'm not going to run away from it. But that doesn't mean—" "I know," she told him. "I know." Alex slumped in his seat and scratched at his knee. "It's the real me. I've seen him in my dreams. He's going to die soon, and he's giving up, which means I'm going to die even sooner than he does." Dorothy nodded. There wasn't anything she could say. He was right. "I used to dream about him a lot, but not so much anymore. Maybe it's because he's forgetting me. How does it work, being a lark?" "I don't know," Dorothy told him. "I wonder what he's doing right now, if he's with his friends and his family, or if he's hiding away, wanting to die. I wish I could see him." "You really want to?" "Sure, wouldn't you?" Dorothy seemed to come to a decision and nodded. "I know somebody who can show him to you. I'm not really supposed to, but hang on." She took his hand again and clicked her heels, and nothing happened. "Oh," she said, "I keep forgetting. No more magic shoes. We'll have to find another way to get there." She led Alex outside and found Pinkerton, and soon he had them both in his arms and was flying them high over the rooftops of the Emerald City. Alex hoped he didn't start to fade away again before they got to wherever they were going, or it was going to be a long fall, longer than the fall he'd taken from the rooftop. Behind them, in her motorcycle turned gyrocopter, flew the ever-watchful Nanny May and Mrs. P, complete with goggles and scarves. Pinkerton swooped towards a tall green tower and glided in through an open balcony door to land in a wide, round room with no decoration before a large gilded mirror hanging on the wall. The flying monkey set them down gently, and Nanny May landed behind them. "Hello, Dorothy," the mirror said, making Alex jump. "Come to check your sales rank again?" Dorothy blushed. "The wizard keeps the magic mirror up here to keep an eye on persons of interest, but I've been popping in to see if people remember me." "You mean it can see into the real world?" I'm hanging right here, the mirror told him. You don't have to talk about me like I'm not in the room. I'm always in the room. Sorry, said Alex. I've come to ask for something different today, mirror, Dorothy told him. Alex is a lark and he wants to see the boy who's dreaming him. Really? The mirror asked. Alex felt a twinge of excitement and fear. Until then, his only hint of the real him had been in vague, jumbled dreams. He wanted to see the real him, but he was almost scared to. In a way, it would prove once and for all that Ever After was real, not some weird, twisted nightmare. Yes, Alex said, please. Well, it's a first, that's for sure, the mirror told them. All right, you know how this works. You have to ask him in rhyme, like in the storybooks, Dorothy told Alex. Mirror, mirror on the wall, that sort of thing. Okay, mirror, mirror in front of me, show me who is dreaming me. You can't rhyme a word with itself, the mirror said. Come on, mirror, said Dorothy. He used the word me 3 times. Just show him already. The mirror sighed. Poetry is a lost art. All right, hold for signal. The mirror's glass face went staticky, then became clear like a television screen showing the world from high in the clouds. Not Ever After, but the real world, a green and brown and blue map without words written on it. They swooped down, down, down towards the ground, and the world resolved into itself into interstates and buildings and baseball fields and neighborhoods. I think I can see my house from here, Alex said, getting hopeful. Then they were dropping toward it and through the roof and into his bedroom. There were his posters of his favorite baseball players, his desk, his video games, his boxes of baseball cards, and there was his mother sitting in bed with him. But not him, he realized. This wasn't his mother and his room and his things. This was the other Alex's world, the dreamer's world. The real Alex lay with his head in his mother's lap, wrapped up in a blanket from his bed. She was reading to him from a picture book, something his little sister might have asked for, but Alex saw it was one of his favorites. Hearing her read it aloud to him made him feel like he was little again, without a care in the world, sitting in his mother's lap for a bedtime story, and he understood why the real Alex didn't complain. Max said, "Be still," she read again, and he tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. The mirror, the tower, Dorothy, Pinkerton, the Emerald City, the tournament, the itch, everything fell away as Alex watched his mother read him the rest of the story. When she was finished, she closed the book and set it aside and put her hand on the real Alex's bald head. Alex reached out, trying to touch his mother, but his fingers found only the flat surface of the mirror. Don't die, Alex whispered to the dreamer. Just one more day, that's all I need. The image faded and Alex was looking at himself in the mirror again. He pulled his hand away from the glass. Sorry. Think nothing of it, the mirror said. Dorothy put a hand on Alex's shoulder. It's going to be okay, Alex. We'll win tomorrow and then you can use your wish to not disappear. Alex nodded, but that wasn't what he planned to wish for at all.